Hello, back with another Chris Watts murders, but except it's the truth. Well, as we all know, what he's done, and I'm about to put out the basement theory. Shanann didn't come in through the door. Shanann came home at 12:17, entered the garageway at 12:22. Her phone connected to the router. That means Chris Watts was waiting on her coming in. The FBI have lied. Well, at first, Chris didn't tell them about the Vivint system being an hour and 25 minutes ahead. So, no, it wasn't a lie at first. No to the FBI. Because he got grilled for 48 hours before that polygraph. Well, as you see. So, I'm putting the basement theory to bed. So, this is the truth. I'm not on the Watts Island or whatever you want to call it. I didn't hear the big fancy cartoons. Oh, because nothing's changed. I'll tell you exactly word for word and what happened to that pair family. Right? This is the truth the Ruziks are hiding, in which they've got the right to hide. Because some YouTube channels seem to think that they're due an explanation. Well, you're no due an explanation. But this is the truth anyway, right at the basement. Nate heard Shanann in the driveway between, he said after midnight. Talking to, obviously, it was Nicole Atkinson. That's how you see her car thingying out the driveway, because Shanann went in through the garage. Shanann's phone connected to a router at 12:23. At 12:20, by 12:30, Shanann was dead. 12:28, Shanann's phone got silent, meaning Chris was there. Then when the FBI did find out the Vivint was at an hour and a half ahead, they still continued it by 1:48. And the picture that Chris Watts actually showed them, and it wasn't even that, she wasn't even pregnant on it. Right? And the way he brought Cece out was, see the hold all bag? Cece was actually folded over, wrapped in her blanket, and put in a 3-foot hold all bag, which was marked as item number 47. A dark grey bag, and it matches the scrapes that Cece had on her body. Cece went in the oil battery, no problem. Right? Yes, this is exactly the times and what happened. Nate himself said this twice. The FBI didn't want to really think it back, because then it wouldn't have been a meditated murder. It was a planned murder. Chris has already told you. But see what the truth is. At 12, by 6 minutes, Shanann was away. In the police note. If you look, you'll find it. Cece, Nate heard Cece crying. There was no noise. He heard it. The only reason he heard the crying was because his dogs were barking. Because they barked at anything in the street, anything and everything, right? So he tells you that in his statement. So Shanann never even made it to upstairs. Now think about it. If Shanann was supposedly killed in her bedroom, how did the dogs no bark upstairs? How? Only at the basement door, exactly where Chris killed her. Exactly where Chris killed her. At that door. If you go and pay attention, the dog barks at the basement door first. They're not looking for Shanann being deceased. Shanann didn't make it. He's attacked her the minute she's came in through the garage. That's the way she came in. That's how you didn't see her on the camera. But the way Chris done it was pretty sick. And Tammy Lee, you're right, it is darker than what I thought, or I wouldn't even be putting the suit here. But I am, because at the end of the day, people are making money off of this utter BS. I'm telling you, it is. So, anyway, I wrote a lot of them. So, Cece was dead, and her autopsy is the same as Shanann's. Because, see how the basement, the bed, the autopsy showed that Bella had been died for 4 hours. And they got her hair in the bag. So the markings on Cece was actually tied up to what Chris had actually told them. Chris had told them this. But I think it's just the timing. They didn't believe. Obviously, again, Nicole was the brains of this. No way would he have thought about that. But Shanann's phone cuts off at 12:30, and there's no noise after that. And then Nate hears Cece crying, and then after 1 o'clock he hears nothing, which Cece's dead. Bella has witnessed all this because no why. He's went right down to the basement. Think about it. He's went right down to the basement, stayed in the basement. Why? Because nobody would hear Cece and Bella crying. Nobody. So that's how the bed was a mess. Because he had Shanann first, then he had Celeste. He took Celeste out, and that whole doll you see him carrying like it's, like Frank says, like a bit of trash. So, and the way he carries Shanann out in that quilt, I mean, he has really, the only bit he kind of hanged up on was picking Bella up, because the way he's done Shanann, he's really done it quick. You do see the white quilt, but you didn't see her. So, Chris, stop telling Les. You put your dead bairn folded in a 3-foot duffel bag that has been confirmed by the DA, number 47, Celeste did the same marking, same autopsy as Shanann. Because nobody, Bella went in alive. And when she was shouting, Daddy, no, because she was holding on to the tank. And this is what I mean, right? She had to sit there with her sister dead, knowing her dad had just killed Celeste because Nate heard her, Cece, crying for mummy. So, and then after 1 o'clock, there was nothing, not a thing. So yeah, Cece got took out in a sports bag, a 3-foot sports bag, which a 3-year-old child would fit in. I mean, he doubled her over. Rigor mortis told them when she died and how Bella went in. So the Rusiks do know that, and he's a monster. Team Chris, nothing. But that's why the FBI never changed the timing. But on Netflix, apparently Nicole Atkinson did tell the truth of what time she dropped her off, and that bit got edited. So, I don't know. Can't answer that bit yet, because I'm not that far down. But I think it was just to keep it in line, so it was like covering for Chris Watts, basically, so that so it looked like it was premeditated rather than he was waiting on her, basically. Then cece was gone. By 1 o'clock, Nate's dogs never moved or made another noise. That's how, when you looked on the CCTV again, which he gave in his statement, he couldn't believe what he saw. And this is what happened during these 5 hours, right? After he failed that polygraph test. Obviously, we're not going to get to see that because the Rusiks have. It's the Rusiks that put a 50-year ban on it because they didn't want to see their family getting bashed all over YouTube, and I get that. I really do. Every day I get it. Would I like it myself? No, I wouldn't. I'd honestly be wanting to kill yous, never mind wanting money. But they've accepted it. It's just going to be part of crime now. But like Frank tells you, at least tell the truth. Tell the truth. Didn't do it just to put money in your pocket. So this is what happened. Because the dogs barked in the basement, right? So anyway, I'll continue. So this was all in Nate's statement, original statement. And I'm sure it's out there for the public too. What time they got back, how Shanann was never caught on his CCTV, and why you only see because she went in the garage. Now you heard Chris, why when the police ask him, what way do you go in? Well, always use the garage. And then he shows the police how, when it starts recording, to the front door, which they didn't ask. But anyway, just to put the basement theory to bed. So that's why they barked. That's why there was no blood stains on the cat. I mean, do you honestly think you wouldn't have seen drag marks down that thick carpet she had on her stairs? Come on, eh? Anybody believed that would have been... But never mind. So, he was in the basement with Bella, which he told Bella was crying, scared. She kept asking, repeating, is it going to happen to her? Apparently, he was just looking for a way to get, like he said, there was nothing he could have put Bella in that wouldn't have looked out suspicion. That's how you see him carrying that bag, and that's poor Bella, that's poor Celeste. That is, honestly, they should have put him on death row. But no, that's how the dogs did in the back upstairs. The dogs barked in the basement, which they ignored. I mean, fair enough. It wasn't a police canine search. It was meant to be somebody helped. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It should never have happened. But shanann didn't back up any flights, and confirmed that our watch, I think it was an Apple Watch Series 3 she had at the time, and an iPhone 6S. So, but no, that's why Chris was sitting down in the basement with Bella, Celeste dead, and shanann dead. So shanann was a lot heavier, because think about it, you're not going to hear nothing upstairs here. But do I think he's went out of the basement when he's been sitting there when after Celeste? I think he's maybe went upstairs with Bella. But remember, Bella's not going to move after seeing her dad doing that to her sister and her mum. But the timing, I didn't ken how they didn't put the right time in. Didn't ken why they didn't say how she went in the garage. I don't know why they stuck to, I think it was just basically to get him behind bars. That's what it was. And it's only him that could really bring Nicole Kessinger to justice, or if any emails, things like that come to light. But that's how the dogs were barking in the basement. But so there was no noise. But that was Nate's statement that he heard Celeste crying around about one, asking, crying for her mummy. So I think that's why he took her downstairs now too. But people could believe it. I'm not asking you to believe. I'm just saying that's the truth. But if you think other people are telling you the truth, then fair enough. Everybody to their own, eh? But trust me, Bella would have been totally, the dad she knew was gone after she witnessed her mum getting killed. And then her sister, no. That's how hers came out. The only thing they did tell the truth on was about her hair being on the top of the tank. That's because, Chris, I'll tell you now, I didn't ken how you could never have loved him. Never. Because you can't put your love off for kenning that my son stamped on my granddaughter's head, and ken she was hanging on that edge alive in that hole. That's how she was saying, Dad, you know. The only smothering only came back, that was fae the house. But believe whatever yous like. But I do believe there is like some maybe have a room like this where it's memorial things and things that they're doing every day, so they see their family every day, because I get it. Never do. But no. I couldn't have took the death penalty. I'm sorry, I couldn't have. I would honestly would have wanted the pictures shown. No. Celeste was found like that. So she's went in the tank, no problem. Folded over. So everything with the duffel bag, Celeste was dead from 1 o'clock. She's the one that's got the collapsed lung, like Shanann. Because of due to pressure, he's ambushed her, and he's told them. He has told, but Tammy Lee and Kobach didn't believe that he's done all this, dug a hole, and I just, I mean, I didn't think this was as dark and as evil as my mind is. Actually, I could actually put myself, Ronnie and Cindy, I have none against us, but how could you forgive your son knowing, well, sorry, maintaining, I mean, your son still put them in oil batteries. Shanann's dead. Shanann didn't do that. And kenning that Bella's head was, put your imagination to it, and I mean really bad. But it didn't get made public. I didn't think. Maybe it did. But the pictures. But no, I think for I actually don't know if it's in I see. I didn't go by. I go by what I see. What I believe, and I did find the truth out, and I knew I would one day. You know what, Chris? How could you sit with two corpses? Tell the FBI, like, no wonder your father-in-law says to you, videos don't lie in his victim statement in the court. Because obviously he's not wanting to give it too much because of the TVs. But cameras don't lie. You threw your family away like trash. You're right there. Your daughters you claim you see in yourself doubled over, and then after you done it, you seen like you says to Tammy Lee, I actually saw Bella and Celeste. If they were trying to scare us, they done it. If Shanann was trying to get my attention, she won again. Really? But people out there that think Shanann done it, when there's evidence out there that backs it up that she she didn't. So there's your basement theory. The dogs have barked at these certain places because of Shanann's body and because Celeste was murdered in the basement. The time's wrong because Shanann, and I'll say it once, Shanann got home at 12:17 entered the garage at 12:22. Her phone connected to her house router at 12:23. Her phone disconnected. Her phone was idle, and then it went dead at 12:30. Meaning that gave Chris 6-7 minutes. So they do know time for Shanann's death. They do know that. But obviously, like Frank says, he'll take the truth to his grave. But I think I know what that truth is. The way the body, I just think I feel, I know. But that's the way he took Celeste. And then, like it says, at 5:22, you see Ambition on. And then, after he backs he's got Abdi in, and then he plays a bit. And then he takes that drive. But, see, Troy, I think you could have maybe dug that hole. Is that not maybe what you done for Chris on the Friday? Is that maybe not the talk? Because, I mean, a 9-inch hole, and then he had to deal with, how did the alarms not even go off on the batteries? But Nicole Kessinger is a different theory. Trust me. But the basement theory, that's how the dog barked at the door. And then when you see the dogs taking an interest to his truck, that's why. Because he throws cece in the back like it's nothing, like it's a gym bag. So if anybody sees, just like Shanann, but he's got her. And tell you, Nate must no, he must have been in shock. He must have been. Could you imagine? Well, and then, I mean, I've heard coincidences and I've heard no coincidence. I mean, everybody heard the EVPs, if you believe in that. But everybody did. I mean, even the police heard it. And then the lights going on and off, and what else was it? This is our home. So that's maybe how she says Chris at her bedroom, at her office door. Is that where Chris has popped up for the basement? When she's came in waiting on her coming in. Because he knew her time. Well, Chris, it's terrible that you're taking this to your grave, but I will get there, mate. I will get there, trust me. But it's the last thing, just to put this hell nightmare to bed. But, no. Yeah, like it says, it's about his cousin hates dogs. That's what actually got him thingied. The timing was right. Cousin hates dogs. But, no, Shanann goes in by the side of the garage. That's how you didn't see her. And then you see Nicole's car driving out the driveway. But see, when he showed, at first when she's reported missing, right? This is how I think Nicole Atkinson acted quick, like she did. Because she went in at 12:22. Now Nicole Atkinson texted her at 1:58. No, 12:58. saying she was just home and in bed. So Shanann never ever got to read that text, sadly. She never. And then her phone went off when Nicole said her phone was always fully charged. It was never off. But that's today's video about the theory, what the basement theory is on Watts Island. Because I mean, the investigators shouldn't have backed this up for day one. They should have changed it. But because it was a done deal, he confessed everything matched. They got hair, they got samples out of the duffel bag, and everything matched. The way cece was found, with her cover wrapped around her, doubled over. The Ken Bella went in the tank alive. I think that's how when you see Chris in the jail when he's getting his feet print took. I think that's what that's for. Just to match shares. But everything matches exactly the way he said it did. And that's how the dogs bark in the basement. Because he was down there. He went down there after he killed Shanann. When she come through the garage door, took her shoes off, and then so Shanann never even got upstairs, which I knew, because you didn't see any marks as if you would dragging someone heavy downstairs. Because bear in mind, Shanann looked big for 15 weeks. I mean, some pregnancies are bigger than others. So she doesn't look pregnant in that image, but that image is actually for 2016, that doorbell image. But somebody did say that to me. They went, how's she got a coat on? But I looked on granddaughter's mark in that. Good point, good spot. But that's why. Because the timing is wrong. So once everything got out there that he'd killed her and that, and it was 1:48, then they found out that they were in security, and that was an hour and 25 minutes to be precise, wrong. So meaning Shanann was home earlier. And then the day before that, which would have been the Saturday, Nate didn't even think Shanann was away because he heard a full-blown argument between Chris and Shanann, and he clear as day heard Shanann saying, "You've ruined my life, it's over, I'm divorcing you and I'm taking the girls," which Chris has admitted that is true, but he had it on loudspeaker. So, in my opinion, that's why the dogs barked, and that's maybe how they showed you the ends, where it's like they've no looked to see what's bothering these dogs, because like Netflix not going to show you everything. I mean, like that Gabby Petito's case, her mum didn't think it was as bad as it was until she seen it on Netflix. If she'd have known it was as bad as that, she'd have told them to bring her home. So it just goes to show you. But that's the basement theory covered, and if I will go over it first and then move on, but just want to put the theories and the BS to bed. I'll tell you the truth. It's called true crime for a reason. But anyway, people, take care, and I hope this helped.